Machine. Let's do. That's just the way it is, Steve. Yeah. Our TV is just doing whatever it wants. The computer's just doing whatever it wants. But at least we're live on YouTube, and it's going to be a subliminal message.
Okay, yes.
We're using subliminal messaging
tactic, yep.
Bible logics for everybody watching.
Get the people.
It's just kind of flashing in and out, and causing people to think about Bible logics, because that's why they came. They wanted to think about the live broadcasts of Bible logics, and now you have it. And so I hope you're happy. Hope you're happy. Well, thanks for joining us here on Bible Logics, and we're going to get to the Bible here periodically, I think, sooner or later. And with that said, make sure you also go out. I don't have the Hope in Jesus Ministries up here. Let me see if I can mess everything up, Steve.
Oh, boy.
And put Hope in Jesus Ministries over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to come up at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Not going to come up at all.
Subliminal. I just thought it's subliminal.
You saw some subliminal activity?
Yeah, there's another one.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. Here today, gone tomorrow. It's a new Microsoft update. And Bill Gates was,
It's a wonderful update, isn't it?
oh my goodness. I like the updates on your computers. Hey, go to Hope in Jesus Ministries right now, because you can see we need new equipment, obviously. That we are barely making it here. Now go out there, find out what we're doing here in the state of Rhode Island. We're evangelizing people, primarily those impacted by incarceration. But we've been out on the streets in Providence, downtown, evangelizing people down there. It's an expansion of our ministry. Something that I've been wanting to do for 20 years, but just never had a team of people to go with me or to identify the body afterwards. Had a good night up at Intake last night. We changed 3 or 4 minds there. Sunday service.
Yeah.
So if you're about evangelism and you're about seeing people come to Christ, then join our team at hopeinjesusministries.org. Don't wait. Don't sit for another second. You go there and you find out about us, and then come back here and like and subscribe to our channel, Bible Logics. You won't regret it.
No.
You might, but I don't think you would.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on how you look at it.
Well, if you're not a Bible-believing, Bible-thumping conservative, you might regret it, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might say, oh, boy. But, hey, if you love the Bible and you love learning the Bible, then thanks for joining us here on, let me put this back up here, Bible Logics. All right, with that said, Steve, are you ready? I've kind of stalled. So. I've stalled all I could.
I believe so. I think everything's up.
All right. I stalled as long as I could. And now we have to get back to the never-ending Proverbs chapter 10. I don't know why you keep dragging.
I mean, just a lot.
Part 6. Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? That we've been talking about various things concerning Proverbs, the wisdom behind Proverbs chapter 6. So, Steve, what do you have for us?
I have Proverbs 10.
Yes.
14.
14.
Yes. So that's really hard.
So are we halfway through, you think?
I think so.
All right. What does Proverbs 10:14 say?
Well, it says, wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So, I guess one would ask, what does it mean what does it mean that the mouth of the foolish is near destruction? I think we can understand wise people store up knowledge, right? But the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. What does that look like in a fool's life?
Well, I think sometimes we jump to a perverse or silly understanding prior to examining the facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, and it can bring disaster in our lives. Again, Proverbs is written to at least eliminate one person from the consequences of poor decision making.
Yeah.
And the only person you can eliminate from consequences that you initially cause with your foolishness is you.
Right.
And so that's what Proverbs isn't guaranteeing, a perfect life if you follow Proverbs perfectly. It's just saying you won't be perfectly responsible for any wrong things that happen to you because you follow the wisdom of God.
Okay.
That's the idea of Proverbs. Proverbs is not promising, and nowhere in the Word of God can promise that in this life you'll have nothing that goes awry.
Okay.
Yeah. However, at least you can eliminate you being the cause of it going awry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, a foolish person jumps to conclusions and can cause destruction. For example, let's look at what's going on with our government and ICE in the news, right? There's a total lie that's been perverted that they zip-tied black babies in the middle of the night at a complex, and it's national news. It's on MSNBC, CNN, and they even put a picture of it happening. And at first, I believed us. Oh, well, it's not good. Well, it turns out that picture was not at the scene. Something manufactured. Not even they found was, and the black man who posted the picture said, "Oh my goodness, guys, you're using a picture of me and my son playing cops and robbers," and we took a picture of it.
Oh.
And saying this is what ICE agents did in the middle of the night.
Oh my goodness.
Instead of saying that they liberated the black community from these gang and vile people, they're saying no, they oppressed them by capturing because they were inconvenienced by the operation.
Yeah.
The operation caused serious inconvenience to people's life to give them liberation belief. It's sort of like, Nazi Germany or Poland, people being run out of their houses to get rid of all the Germans. And the Polish said, "Well, how come you ran me out of my house?" Oh, yeah, because we wanted to get rid of the Germans. Oh, they came out, "Thank you so much." This little disturbance is a great relief because these people had infested where we live.
Oh.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people jump to foolish conclusions like zip tying babies was something ICE was just itching to do, especially black babies and white ICE, whiteys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, and it's just a terrible thing. 37 illegal gang members living in one apartment building, taking it over. They've taken it over. It must have been a disgusting place to live. They just did whatever they want. Could you imagine having neighbors like that?
I can't imagine.
I don't even like neighbors that we have today.
You'd be living in fear.
Of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then someone comes and liberates you and you don't even know it. So, but what I'm saying is because of this thing, now you have more destruction and more violence against righteous or actions, you know. Plus, who's going to want to do it anymore? And you're causing destruction with these made up lies.
Yeah.
And so it's true. Again, Proverbs is true.
It just seems that, like, it's in the Democrats and the Republicans, like I read right now, it seems like everybody's going back and forth with these horrendous lies about each party. Well, horrendous lies against the Republicans. I don't know how many people are lying about the Democrats.
No, to call them stupid
Yeah.
is not a lie. Sorry, that is the truth.
Right.
There's more than one gender. Come on, man. That's just plain stupid.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous.
Right.
It's so foolish.
Right.
To say that that's not life in the womb, that's just stupid. You're stupid, you're ignorant, you're hateful.
Right.
That's true. You know, you can call people all kinds of names as long as they're true. But if you start calling people racist and Nazis and fascist, when that is not, the facts do not point to that.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
these guys should be called liberators, not fascist.
yeah. We're gonna look at some of those things actually going further down here. If we can get the verse 18 today.
All right.
But,
So verse 15.
so verse 15 says, "The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty." So it doesn't look like they're saying that this is a bad thing for the rich man. And it said a rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. So that looks like it's a bad thing right there.
Well, again, if you look at the rest of the Bible, you'll understand that sometimes the rich depend on their wealth as a determination of their religiousness. In other words, we're a good person because, look, I'm rich.
Right.
And I think in some ways this is a warning to rich men
Right.
and their wealth. This becomes their comfort zone, their wealth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And, you know, and it's also this idea of, it could mean in another way that being rich isn't a bad thing. You can build a strong city. But it says, is his strong city.
Do you think that it could be saying that this is an earthly spiritual wealth that they're talking about here, or actually you think maybe it might be actual wealth like money or whatever? This is the rich man's wealth. This is strong city. So I don't know. It might be another meaning.
Well, I think, you know, Proverbs are a riddle. And you have to figure out the riddle. What's the riddle here?
Yeah.
And you sometimes have to use the rest of God's word to help to discern. Because he's saying, like in James, that the rich sometimes trust in the pursuit of wealth. And that becomes their focus point. That becomes their God. That becomes their strong city. You know, the place in which they find comfort or fortitude or safety.
Okay, yeah.
Right? A strong city would be considered a safe place, right? From enemies. And so God isn't necessarily saying that's a good thing. That rich men have placed their trust or their safety based on their wealth. And that's not, you better not put all your trust in your wealth.
Right.
Especially for your eternal safety, that you're, okay, obviously I'm blessed by God. Look how rich I am. Listen, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Right.
A lot of evil rich people out there.
True.
You could be one of them. Not you, Steve, because you're poor. However, you know, to not try to be rich or not try to be successful is dumb also. You know, as a righteous person, some people will say, well, look how righteous he is. He's so humble. He's given up everything. that can lead to destruction too. Right? That you might say, well, I'm going to give everything up for the Lord. And a vow of poverty. The Bible says, well, that's destructive too. Right? So maybe you just want to be in the middle of the road.
Right.
Don't want to be so wealthy that you forget about God, but don't want to be so poor that you have to beg in the streets.
Yeah.
Says David in the Psalms.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a balance.
An example of that is the widow with the mite, right?
Yeah.
She gave in all she had.
Yeah. Went home to die.
And went home and died, and they took her house.
Yeah, took her house.
Yeah. So then.
Jesus wasn't happy about that at all.
Right.
People say, oh, look how Jesus is so happy that she threw in everything. No, not at all. They had convinced her for destruction.
Right.
That if she would just become impoverished, take a vow of poverty, she could really go to heaven. No, what she got was destruction. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. You don't have to take a vow of poverty. 0.
Right.
You know, God doesn't want you to have to live in discomfort purposely.
Right. Yeah.
No, sometimes you can't control other people. But God is not saying that you should take a vow of poverty. The Bible says don't be a burden on other people.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you take a vow of poverty, you're going to become a burden to other people. Someone's going to have to buy your food.
That's true.
Someone's going to have to put clothes on your back. Someone's going to have to buy you a new pair of shoes eventually. Underwear, socks, I don't know. Well, no, I go to the free station. Listen, someone bought it.
Right. Yeah, you're
It didn't just miraculously come out of the ground.
Right.
You know, but it was free. Yeah, someone donated who bought it. It was, you know, a burden of their labor.
Right. Yeah.
If you're capable of working, find some kind of work you're capable of doing.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause I mean, you could be actually taken. If you're capable of working, you would actually be taking things free that could help an actual person or family who really needs it. And
Right.
you're just,
Who have experienced, you know, circumstances out of their control. You know,
Right.
you need a 5% contingency plan, no matter what. In any culture, society,
Right.
you're gonna have a 5. But once it starts to rise above 5%, it becomes a very hard burden for people to be. This is why we're so far in debt in this country, is because people have been sucking other people dry, and you know, and God says you can't do that. You can't take a vow of poverty. Don't take a vow of poverty.
What do you think? I think it's in. I'm not sure if it's in Sermon on the Mount, but where it says, "Don't worry about what you'll eat or what your clothes or where you'll live." So God knows what you need.
Well,
In that sense, what is he
The
talking?
context is he's trying to convince the Jewish people to come to faith in him. I'll come to faith in you. I'll lose everything. I'll be kicked out of the synagogue, and then I won't be able to eat or anything. She says, "Hey, I don't care.
Right.
That's not important. What's important is where will you spend eternity? That's far more important
Right.
than what you eat or drink."
Right. Right.
Now, he's not talking about in everyday life.
Right.
He's just talking about if you're refusing to come to me
Because you're worrying about.
because you're worried about those things, down.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it to give up your soul for pizza.
Right, because in the grand scheme of things, like
Yeah.
that those things are really not worried.
Yeah.
The thing that you should be worrying about is your salvation. That's
Well, that's what I'm saying. And people don't think, they think it's an everyday life because they don't understand the context in which Jesus is dealing with. That was a reality back then. That was a real reality. It wasn't a circumstance or whether you step out in sanctification. It's not talking about sanctification. It's talking about a decision to follow or believe in Christ.
okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And so because if that's the case, then none of us should work. None of us should worry. None of us should go to work because we're following Christ. I'll just wait at my doorstep.
Yeah.
Groceries would show up.
Yeah.
Right? Do you ever hear the spiritual joke, the story about the lady who was praying for groceries? Yeah.
No,
Remember that one?
I don't think so.
So, she's a poor old lady. She's spiritual, loves Jesus, and she's praying on her porch, out loud, Dear Lord, I don't have any money to buy food. Could you send me some food so I have something to eat? So now the atheist who lived next door heard. And he says, I'll get her. That Jesus-believing old lady, I'm going to get her. I'm going to go out and buy the groceries. And I'm going to put her on the porch, ring the bell.
Yeah.
So he puts it on the porch, rings the bell, and hides behind the bushes. And she comes out and says, oh, praise you, God, for bringing me these groceries and answering my prayer. And the atheist said, ha ha! Jumps out of the bushes. God didn't send those groceries, I did. The old lady says, thank you, Lord, for making this atheist bring me these groceries.
Yeah.
And so, the idea is don't forsake those kinds of things because you decided to believe in Jesus. Don't let those life comforts deter you, right? Now, like I said, in some countries, that's a real thing. In other words, if you go to certain Arab countries, most of them, 90% of them, and you convert from Islam to Christianity, that's a capital offense. You could be thrown in prison, starved, stoned, and everything.
Wow, yeah.
So Jesus says, well, it's a better decision than dying and going to hell. Look at the man who doesn't have any water in hell.
Right.
In anguish.
Yeah, that was the rich man.
That's all. It's not about sanctification. It's about salvation.
Okay, so, all right. So those things that we just mentioned about food and, places, is kind of worldly. So how do we assure ourselves that we're not being worldly, because we know that we can't be friends to the world, right? What does that mean, like not to be friends with the world?
Well, again, it's like saying, let's say you're I'm trying to think. So we have a friendship. Let's say we're friends. We do this podcast, right? And so next week you decide to come up and do the podcast with me, but you're gonna talk about the Dallas Cowboys. That's all you want to talk about. Is, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have a crisis here, thinking about the Cowboys, right? And God says, no, that's not why you came to do the podcast with your friend Tony. Was to talk about the Bible, right? So what he's trying to say is don't replace what you're doing for God with the things of the world. Do unto God what's God's, and do unto the world what's the world's. In other words, you can go to the Dallas Cowboys game and watch it all you want.
Right.
But don't come to your friend Tony's house and say, hey, we're going to do a podcast about Jesus and the Bible. However, I'm just going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and how great they are, which would be a lie. But how are they doing?
They're actually doing pretty good.
All right, well,
they beat the Jets this weekend, and I'm thinking to myself, woohoo, the Jets are 0-5. They have a horrible team, so but, they beat up on them pretty good. But,
so they beat up on a Pee-wee team.
Yeah.
But anyway, but what I'm saying is,
Right.
The Cowboys are a hated team in America by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the point is you decided to be friends with the world when you were obligated to be friends with me.
And so that's why I guess Sunday is very important, because you're in the world, you're working in the world, like, 5-6 days a week, but that Sunday is very important to separate yourself from these worldly things. And
well, I don't know if Sunday is the only day.
Okay, yeah.
I'm saying? I don't know if Sunday's the only day.
The day of rest. I'm using the day of rest.
Well, again, I don't know. I mean, everybody should decide to set aside a time to worship God. What I'm saying is you can't worship God and manna at the same time. You can't have it both ways.
Right, yeah.
You can't say I'm doing a biblical podcast and then all you do is talk about sports.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's being friends with the world, not with God.
Right.
And so, like, if you went out on a date and all you did was talk about another woman,
yeah, that would.
I'm not sure the date's going to go too well.
That's correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it does, then you're with a crazy woman
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
who you better watch out when you fall asleep.
Yeah. She was live.
You know what I'm saying? You might find yourself hogtied.
Or bald.
Or whatever, or bald.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. But the idea is you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
And so the idea is don't treat God like he's not important in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you're only being friends with the world. Because we have to live in the world. We have to go to work. We have to participate. We have to know what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to be part of the world. But we don't live in it. It's not our eternal focus.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Our hope is not in the things of the world.
Yeah. The verse says, "Be in the world, but not of it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best analogy I can help people with, is to understand, that concept. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, there's a lot of things about the poor that, Proverbs 10:15, harsh descriptions of poverty often lead to questions about God's heart for the poor and the church's role in helping them. Right?
Well, it becomes, why are you poor?
Yeah.
Are you the cause? Are you not going to work? Are you having multiple children out of wedlock?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? Because that's not God's design for success.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Right? If you have several divorces, you got several households, you got several kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't go to work on a regular basis. You know what I mean? You're not improving your labor skills. Okay, well, you're the cause. And I think that's the kind of poverty God's talking about. Not the kind of poverty that sometimes happens with oppression, but you also have to say, why does oppression happen?
Right.
Why does oppression happen to a people? What are they doing so wrong that another group of people would conquer them in such a devastating fashion that they have no protection from, the Aborigines? They wonder why they've been impoverished, right? It says they've forsaken the advancement and knowledge of technology. They're still fighting with sticks. Easy enough fight to win today.
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's something spiritually wrong with them. They have this weird belief that they can today beat people up with sticks and boomerangs and play a horn, and that's just going to frighten people away. Hey, in the old days, maybe you got to kind of figure that out, or you're always going to be oppressed.
Yeah.
And you're not getting on. Well, you don't accept us in our society. Yeah, because you all walk around naked,
Yeah.
flaunting everything. Show nobody wants to see that. No one wants to come to Burger King.
Yeah.
You back there making a sandwich. Everything hanging out.
Well, yeah. Right? Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you should eat kangaroo meat and kangaroo poo. Okay, I think I'd rather, eat a cow.
Right. Speaking of cows, look at India.
Well, again, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to wonder why you're being oppressed, and it's usually a spiritual reason.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of the times it's probably a spiritual reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sorry, powwows don't work anymore. If they ever did. Well, we'll just powwow the white man. We'll just dance around this fire and nature will destroy them. Well, listen, you guys got the wrong spirit.
Right.
Just saying.
Right, yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with the Jewish nation. Right? Let's talk about the Jewish nation.
Yeah.
They're wailing at a wall. They're saying you're saved by works, but you haven't had a temple in 2,000 years. How are you going to be saved by works? You think God is just saying, well, here's the real funny joke. Watch. I'm going to make them Hebrews down there, really, really upset over the years and cry. And I'm going to tell them that they have to be saved by their works. But I'm not going to give them a temple to do it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And they wonder why they're oppressed, have been oppressed.
You're right.
Come on, guys. And the same thing will happen to America if we don't.
I think so. Definitely.
If men don't wake up. They're upset. Here we go. They're upset that our Secretary of War said, you know what, if you're going to be in the military and combat, you got to be in shape. Whoa. I didn't know we weren't.
Right, yeah. Right, yeah.
I didn't even know we weren't.
Right.
But apparently we haven't been since 1990.
Right, yeah. And there's people in those positions now, he also said, that don't deserve it. It's just because we had to meet some kind of quota. Yeah. That's why this person's in this position.
This is a combat readiness.
He said, Hector said, no more fat generals, he said.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Combat, fat general. It's just like, okay, why are all the criminals in Chicago? Look at the cops. You know what I'm saying? They're 300 pounds. Who are they going to track down?
Yeah.
You can see them coming from a mile away.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Who is he going to catch?
Yeah.
So sometimes we bring upon ourselves oppression, too.
I think so.
And poverty.
Yeah.
And so God is just saying, don't do that upon yourself. If you're doing everything right, then okay, maybe there's something else going on here. But, you got to have your wits about you.
Yeah.
And not just pretend that there's a reason Jesus told him to go out and get a sword. Right? Jesus says you better arm yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
True. Yeah.
Because, you're going to have to defend yourself against these nuts. I don't want you just have to surrender. You don't have to just surrender to nutcases. You can defend yourself against oppressors who want to come and take. You better be ready.
Yeah. What you said, verse 16 kind of sums that all up. It says that the labor of the righteous leads to life, the wages of the wicked to sin.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to run around and live in mud huts so that you can see your wife and all your women run around topless. I'm sorry, you're going to be poor.
Right, yeah, if you never...
You know what I mean? Your standard of living is going to be low. This is my 8 children with my 8 wives. Okay, well, guess what? Poverty is going to be low. I don't know how you afford that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, the Mormons only afford it with that kind of destruction family because these women aren't actually married to the guys, and so the government gives them money for unborn children out of wedlock because they'd be arrested. Just so you know that these games they play, and the reason they're rich and live in these big houses is because they're all getting government money, food stamps, and everything else.
Yeah.
Because they're not married and they have children or multiple children.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw a picture one time where there was these 2 people shopping for food, and there was the one that who went to work, and her basket only had like maybe 4 or 5 things in it. But the person who didn't work, their basket was full to the brim, overflowing from the government. They're giving them money, you know. And I've seen that before.
I don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can't last forever.
Yeah, I know Trump was talking about that there should be some kind.
Well, they made it work. They made it work. You know, you have to do some kind of work to get these.
Yeah, or these looking for it, right?
Some kind of volunteer work. So, you know. But the problem is if you have children out of wedlock, then this is going to bring forth more economic issues than sticking together as a family.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it's just the way it is. Life is hard enough. Why throw gasoline on the fire? You know? And so, yeah. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, we got verse 17. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life.
Yeah, I mean, symbolically, life is about bringing things together and things working cohesively or coming together with God. Is the idea. Death is destruction, separation, deterioration, things not holding up. Yeah, I mean, things in disrepair.
Yeah.
Right? And so the idea is that God is saying, by listening to me, you can have a better way of life. At least you won't be the cause of it. But if you don't, if you refuse, say, listen, man, Aborigines, you need to drop the sticks, put on some clothes, get a proper job, stop hunting kangaroo meat and kangaroo dung and smoking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, you have a better life. And some of them do. All the Aborigines aren't like that. Some of them are very successful. But they left that spiritual demon behind and have probably most likely accepted Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, and it brings life. It brings people. We're not meant to live in caves. We never were.
Right.
Caves is a result of a lack of spiritual discipline. That's what happens to people.
Yeah.
We didn't start out in caves. We started out in great cities.
Right. And
You know?
you said that's one of the reasons why we have the poverty that we do, like, or people living in caves is the reason, right?
Well, I think that's probably, you know, 75% of it.
Yeah. Because I think this verse 17 kind of alludes to that. It's he who keeps instruction. In other words, he doesn't share it.
Yeah.
He doesn't share that with people around him. Will get in the way of life for someone. You know?
He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction. No, this is a positive thing. When it says, he is in the way of life that keepeth instructions. In other words, he's saying, if you follow my instructions, you'll have life.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have a better life. Things will be better put together for you. Even if you're poor.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, listen, I could have the poorest house in the neighborhood and it would still be clean.
Mm-hmm.
It would still be mowed.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because God says you got to take care of what you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the trash would still be picked up and put in a nice pile.
Right.
You know? But a fool refuses, there are people who refuse reproof.
Mm-hmm.
If you and you should probably sweep this porch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's no reason, blah, blah, blah. It's just dirt going to get back up there. Yeah, but you're made to work, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sweep your porch.
I get
Well, give me a job. They give you a job. You don't even sweep your porch.
Right.
You don't even take care of your own stuff.
Right.
What makes you think I want you to take care of my stuff?
True.
You know what I mean? You show up, you're not properly dressed, you don't look like you have it together,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to put you behind the grill
Right. With
to cook what's those fancy dinners called? A 7-course meal?
mm,
You know what I mean? I don't think so.
right.
I can't trust you to put together a 7-course meal if you can't even come properly dressed.
Right.
And you wonder why you're poor,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's just funny because where my brother lives, I think most of the time he's usually one in the neighborhood. Even like you said, even if you're poor, you still can clean up your yard, right?
Yeah.
But there's a house that I go by, and it's in Cranston. It's a really, really nice neighborhood, and there's this one house that's totally in disarray. Things all over the place. It doesn't look neat. The lawn doesn't look manicured at all. And the person says, I do what I want. Leave me alone. In other words, you can't. They know that it's bothering other people, but yet won't do anything.
They wonder why they live in poverty.
Exactly.
They think it's everybody else's fault.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
And they don't take care of what they need to take care of.
Yeah.
So, again, I think that's 75% of probably
Yeah.
the problems. You know. All right, well,
Well, we got
solve that.
5 minutes.
Over.
Well, we got 3 verses. I mean, hey, good.
All right. All right, thanks for joining us here. Join us in Bible Logics tomorrow night at 7. Is it 7?
Yeah.
7 p.m.?
7:39. Maybe Saturday. No. I'm all messed up now.
Tomorrow night, guys.
Okay, yeah. We'll be here at some point.